Self-esteem high like Pluto. Arrogant as fuck, hopping out the Benz two-door. Up in the club, confidence like a model. Smoking on a swisher, just caught me a bottle. Step to a bitch and she fronted on me. Pour alcohol on her like a scratch CD.
Hey, this is Joe Voretech at Movement 2008 for GearWire.com, and we're talking to Chicago house producer and DJ Paul Anthony. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, having a good time, and it's an honor to talk to you today. Want to basically ask you about your production. What have you been doing lately? How long you been producing for instance, and DJing for?
I started DJing in 1989 as a hobby. Got a little more serious about it in 1995. Started playing parties and reached out to by 99 I had already played most of America, and now presently I've done 75 cities, 48 states, and 35 countries. So
fantastic.
And as far as production, recently I just released on Movement Music, me and my partner ZXX, 19-year-old producing prodigy. We teamed up together and found him on MySpace, amazing producer.
Wow.
And we just released on Movement Music a track called Sub Rockin', which hit the top 20 in Beatport's top 100 electro charts. So
fantastic.
So doing real well. We released 58 releases in the last year and a half right now, and just travel on touring in the summertime right now, just coming to support the United States over here at DEMF, or Movement Festival.
So you met this your partner in production through MySpace.
Yeah,
do you guys
sure.
produce in person, or do you do? Because I know there's some projects actually produce online, where one member of the project does some work in their studio and then emails him or forwards it on to the other, because they might not be in the same place. Or is he local?
We share a studio together. We're one town apart, so
great.
we actually share a studio, one spot. So.
That's fantastic.
Spend about 100 hours a week on production when we're not traveling. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
In the past year, we've done 180,000 miles traveling. So
wow.
Keeping real busy.
So tell me a little about your studio. What kind of gear? Is it mostly analog? Do you use a lot of digital now? Do you have a preference? That kind of stuff?
We master in Pro Tools. We sequence in FL Studios. In my own personal studio that I share with my partner Mike Gillenwater from the Funk Monkeys, we also do we do a lot of analog, MPC 2000 XL, Virus Indigo 2, Novation A Station, Novation Base Station, Juno 106, Moog Fatty, a bunch of different analog gear too.
Awesome.
And what I do is I integrate the two. So I'll prep some stuff on the synths, bring it over, and do everything virtual now. So
that's cool.
The virtual opens up an opportunity to do a lot more effects. If I'm using a VST versus an analog synth, I don't have to have 20 viruses. I could have a VST and open the window 20 times, and to me that gives me a little bit more opportunity than spending $100,000 buying the same synthesizers over and over again.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Or resampling. This way I can set automation on the actual VSTs for each single one. So
awesome.
It opens a lot more effects process, a lot of different things. Instead of having 30 tube compressors, which will run about $2,000 a piece, I buy one plug-in and I open it up 30 times.
Exactly.
So
awesome.
definitely, there's a lot of advantages to going digital versus analog. I like the thickness of analog too, so a lot of different things. We process things differently, a bunch of different directions. So
cool. When you guys tour, do you do a live show or do you do a DJ?
We do DJ show.
Okay.
So we do 3 CD players we do 3 CDJ 1000 MK2s, and we do 2 DJM 800s. So
awesome.
Do a lot of effects, a lot of acapellas on top of tracks. We predominantly do electro house also. So
awesome.
Electro, then minimal electro too. A little bit, not quite the minimal you'll hear here at the festival, but a little more electro based. So it's got a little bit more build-ups where Dan Bell will do a little bit more minimal and stay minimal. And Groovy, we'll have a huge drop, a big build-up and stuff. So
cool.
A little bit more intense, I guess you could say. I mean, it depends on which way you look at it. I mean, I'm used to playing big rooms, so my inspiration comes from playing for 5,000 people. So I'm into the big build-ups and the big screams and this and that versus a small, intimate groove. I mean, I like doing that as well, but shoot for the big rooms for sure.
So when you guys master then, what's kind of your mastering process? I know basically a lot of people, including myself, when you're mastering something in the studio, you try out a lot of different things. You sequence it, you mix it down, you try a lot of different things. You finally get into a kind of a process you usually use for the mastering.
We do a lot of mastering on our process of making the track when we do it virtually. and from there we'll take the after project. We'll look at the wave in like Adobe Audition and see how it looks. If it looks good, we don't mess with it. If it's already good, leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? If it's not broken, don't fix it. But if it needs a little help on the low end or whatever, then we'll master it down on a digital board. So use outboard compression, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. It just depends on what you're doing. So well, our last like 10 projects, our mastering while we were producing has been on point, so we didn't have to touch it afterwards. So once in a blue moon, we'll do a vocal project where the highs are too tinny or something, and we'll have to bring it down in the post-mastering. So, and once you send it to your mastering plan, then they know things that we don't know. So that's what they go to school for. So I love my mastering guy.
Awesome. So you're going to start touring, or are you already in the midst of touring?
I'm in the midst of touring right now. I have the weekend off at the moment. So other than that, I got a lot of dates coming up. I'm doing a Love Festival in Oahu. I'm going to Bulgaria, playing at Club Plasma in Plovdiv. I'm doing Istanbul, Turkey. I'm doing Germany, Portugal, a bunch of different things. I'm going back to Japan. I just released a CD with HMV out of Japan, which is similar to what America would consider Virgin Records, but in the Asian territory. So I have a CD that's going to be at every shop in everywhere from like Singapore to Bangkok to Seoul, Korea to Osaka, Tokyo, all over the place. So I actually just got back from Osaka, Japan in January. I was there in July with doing a series of dates. Coming up in September, I'm going to be doing myself personally. I'll be doing like 30 dates up throughout the Asian territory. So,
dude, you're one of the hardest DJs in the business, man. You're hardest working.
Oh, there's plenty that are doing way more than me, man. I'm just trying to keep busy doing my thing. So.
Hey, Paul Anthony, thank you so much for interviewing with us and letting us know, about your upcoming events, your projects, your production, your studio, and all that. Anything you
keep a lookout for Dirty Fabric Digital on Beatport. It's our own label that we do, and recently we've released stuff. We did remix Steve Angelo's Sensation, the group The Funk Monkeys that I'm also with my roommate Mike Gillenwater. We just did a project with Sebastian Lager remix, Laid Back Luke remix. We did 2 remixes for Harrison Crump and Dajian Subliminal Records. Eric Murillo relicensed it. A lot of big projects in the process right now, but definitely look out for Dirty Fabric. About 30 releases in. We're about to drop 5 albums coming up for a bunch of new artists too. So aside from our stuff, we're trying to develop new artists. So we're everywhere from like Greece to Bulgaria. I'm finding producers that are up and coming with no releases out, trying to develop them into big artists. So
fantastic.
Working on the marketing.
Cool. Well, hey, Paul Anthony, thank you so much for your time, man.
For sure.
And you have a great time in Detroit.
You too. Have fun.
Thanks, man. This is Joe Voretech, and that was Paul Anthony, and this is Movement 2008. Thanks, guys.